WWDC 2016 has come and gone, at least the keynote. Obviously, it goes on all week for developers, and keep that in mind. Developers. I still don't understand why people whine about, no new hardware, no new MacBooks. Stop it. All right, let's talk. Hello guys, how are you? David DeFranco here from daviddefranco.com. The Worldwide Developers Conference keynote was extremely solid in my opinion. Aside from that one cringe-worthy tech demo fail, I hate that. I mean, I get nervous just watching people up on stage and always anticipating something to go wrong. Thankfully, it resolved itself in like a minute, so I was like, okay, good, crisis averted. That's just how I feel because I have a severe fear of public speaking. Okay, so let's get into my 10 favorite things that I enjoyed most about this year's WWDC keynote. Number 1, and I kind of expected this because it was kind of quiet at first, so I figured it was gonna happen, and Tim Cook did just that. Tim Cook took a few minutes to honor the Orlando attack victims. First of all, not only was this a completely senseless crime, if somebody is willing to kill 50 others because they don't agree with their views in life, that person is truly a waste of space on this planet we call Earth. Get people like that out of here. That's just how I feel. But anyway, Tim Cook, major props to him for not only honoring the victims, but asking everybody to stand and have a moment of silence. Now, I will say it was completely disrespectful for people to hold up their phones and take pictures and use their phones during the moment of silence. How rude can you be? Put your freaking phone in your pocket and honor the fallen victims of people who are actually killed. But your top priority right now is the tweet that Tim Cook is doing a moment of silence. Shame on you, seriously, shame on you. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff. WWDC 2016, the second thing I enjoyed most, and this is surprising, watchOS 3? Yeah, it's kind of a massive update, because I will say watchOS 2 was cool and all, but nothing really blew my mind. But watchOS 3? Apple's making some significant changes, including the ability to easily switch your watch faces, which just seems nice. And it's easier to reply to messages as well, which is definitely welcome because I don't really text all that much on my Apple Watch. I primarily use my iPhone and my Mac for that. But still, I mean, watchOS 3 could encourage me, the user, to use my Apple Watch more for texting. I mean, I read text all the time, every single day, but replying, not so much as of right now. And finally, we can instantly launch apps and things appear like that. That's how it should have been at launch, but you know what? I'm glad Apple has recognized their mistakes. So awesome. Big approval for me right there. And finally, Scribble actually looks pretty damn fun to use. So basically, you scribble with your finger the letters that you want to text, like D, A, V, I, D, and it sends it. I think that's pretty nice. Number 3, the macOS rebrand. I'm okay with. I mean, I was a little nervous because I'm all about branding, but honestly, this makes perfect sense. So Apple basically took the OS X brand after 15 years, it's a long time guys, 15 years, and they rebranded OS X into macOS. And this makes perfect sense. Think about it, iOS, tvOS, watchOS, macOS. Awesome. Number 4, Siri on macOS Sierra, which by the way, I love the name, actually looks incredibly useful. I use Siri all the time on my iPhone for timers and facts and here and there. I mean guys, yes, Siri is something very easy to joke about, but at the end of the day, thousands upon thousands of people use it daily, and that includes myself. I find Siri to be incredibly useful, and she just gets better as time goes on. But Siri on macOS does look incredibly useful, and it's actually something I've wanted for quite a while now. So awesome, I'm looking very forward to using Sierra in the fall. If I don't use a public beta in the summer, kind of wary on that, especially since I use this to literally run my life. So we'll see. Number 5, you can finally unlock your Mac without the use of a password. Every time I open my MacBook Pro, I had to type my password in, and oftentimes it's the wrong password because I don't only use one password for everything. Don't do that. That's very, very bad. I'm very animated today. But anyway, using your Apple Watch, as long as you're within close proximity of your MacBook, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, whatever, it will automatically unlock the second you flip open the lid. And I think that is super freaking convenient. And I don't really use the word super that often. So Apple, props. It's little features like that in my opinion, go a very long way for the user. You're saving me time. And let's face it, time is money. Number 6, a completely redesigned Apple Music app. Now, I gotta be honest, I did not really see this coming. I mean, I expected a few music updates here and there in terms of UI and UX, but a completely new design? Hey, I mean, I'm not gonna argue it. First of all, Apple's going for more of a bold design, which actually surprises me because they've been all about flat and thin fonts and all that stuff, which I'm okay with. But with Apple Music, they seem to be going for more a bold approach, which I'm also okay with. I think it looked good from what I saw in the keynote. So yes, I mean, overall a bolder design, easier navigation in theory, and built-in lyrics, which I think a lot of users could find quite useful. Number 7, this is something I did not see coming either. Messages, in other words, iMessage, received a huge update. First of all, let me say this, and please don't bash me. I've used Android. I have no real hatred against Android nowadays, but I'm so happy to say that iMessage is not available for Android yet. I say yet because it might happen someday, but as of today, iMessage is still not available on Android. Thank you, Apple. Thank you. I know I sound like a total fanboy, but I strongly believe that iMessage belongs in the Apple ecosystem and nowhere else. Anyway, Messages is receiving a huge overhaul with all these new features. First of all, Invisible Ink, and they had some fun with that because let's face it, a lot of people are gonna be using this feature for questionable reasons. Can't blame you. But anyway, Invisible Ink is basically this really neat feature where if somebody wants to send you a picture or text or whatever, it's kind of like these particles, but then you scrub away the message with your finger. And that message actually appears as you move your finger, which I think is really cool. We get personalized photos and videos with stickers and animations and all that stuff. Think like Snapchat, but in iMessage. And speaking of stickers, we get just that, stickers. So Facebook, watch out, Apple's coming for you. And tap to replace emoji. This is a feature that I think actually looks like a lot of fun to use. Okay, so for example, let's say you type out a sentence to your friend saying, let's go play basketball. So iOS 10 automatically highlights the word basketball. And if you tap that word basketball, it turns from the word basketball into an actual basketball emoji. That's not bad. I mean, a lot of people are gonna find that to be pretty fun to use, including myself. So props to Apple for having some fun with their Messages platform. But the biggest news with iMessage is the fact that they're opening it up to third-party developers. Think Facebook Messenger and how you can install apps, but now with iOS 10, you can do the same exact thing with iMessage, Messages, whatever you want to call it. So I think this is fascinating in a way because Apple is pretty much going head-to-head with Facebook Messenger. So, hey, not a bad thing. Number 8, and this is probably a feature you can get either on Android or by jailbreaking your iPhone, but I'm really excited about this. Raise to wake. So let's say my iPhone is sitting flat on my desk, as it usually is, and I want to check my notifications. You simply raise your phone, and it automatically turns on the screen. Now, this is a huge feature in my eyes because Touch ID is so quick. Look, I literally tap my home button and it unlocks. So sometimes I have to remind myself to say, David, do not press that home button. Instead, press the sleep wake button and boom. But now I can raise my phone, see my notifications, put the phone down, boom, done. I'm sorry about the clicking in the background. I'm making some buffalo chicken. Number 9, single sign-on in tvOS. Okay, so how many times have you gone to connect like some kind of content provider with HBO Go through Xfinity or Showtime through Xfinity? It's highly annoying. You typically have to go to hbogo.com/activate, put in some random pin of characters, and then just hope it activates on your Apple TV, Roku device, whatever. Okay, so it usually does activate. It's not that big of a deal. but when you do it over and over again for multiple apps, it can quickly become annoying. So now we have something called single sign-on with tvOS, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You sign on once and boom, it does it for the rest of the apps that are supported. Again, Apple, you're saving me time, so I heavily approve of this feature. Well done. And finally, number 10, while this does not apply to me directly, Swift Playgrounds, I think, is kind of a breakthrough. So basically what Apple is doing is they're looking to encourage developers to learn coding at a young age without even feeling like they're coding to begin with. So basically you can control this character in this very basic game to do things simply by dropping in lines of code. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, to put lines of code on screen and see things happen instantly, I think that's a big deal. Simple things like this could encourage developers to really go out there and create something awesome. And that's what the Apple brand stands for. Making use of this incredible technology and creating something new. Changing the world. Quite literally changing the world. Now, I may sound like a fanboy when I say that, but this goes for any brand, whether you're Microsoft, Google, Apple, whatever. If you're using technology for good, then major props to you. Okay, my oven just beeped. Anyway, those are my 10 favorite things that I saw at WWDC 2016. Of course, there's so much more, but I figured rather than doing my regular recap video, which are typically very long, I wanted to do this instead. Now, of course, there's still so much more that I'm enjoying and that I'm interested in, so perhaps I'll talk about those features in future videos. So it's up to you. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Go to davidfranco.com/ask. Post your question right there about anything you saw in macOS, tvOS, watchOS, and iOS. Did I say iOS? I'm not sure. All these OSs. So do just that. I appreciate it. The more questions that I can get, the better. And also, question for you guys. What was your favorite thing that you saw at WWDC 2016? Let me know right below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go enjoy some lunch. There it is. And I'll see you next time. Peace.